Good morning, fifth grade. Today, you have the option of listening to the text when you're taking your quiz. And before we get started, we need to decide, is this a fiction or a nonfiction text? So we have our directions that says answer all questions. When you're finished with a page, go to the next page. And then it says, read this story about a girl who moves to a home that is very different than the place she used to live. Answer questions 1 through 6. So from this blurb, we can tell if it's fiction or nonfiction. It tells us it's a story. Okay, so that means the text is fiction. So now we need to think about what strategy are we going to use for our fiction text. And so it would probably be a good idea to use CSPS to begin with. And then if they ask us more questions about the character, we can go back and look for fast evidence. But right now, you should be getting ready to find information about the character, setting, problem, and solution. New terrain. Madison stepped timidly out of the starcraft and inspected her new surroundings. Huge mountains and towering trees stretched into the sky. Instead of the vibrant blue sky Madison was used to on Earth, the sky here was a fiery shade of orange, lit up like it was permanently on fire. Madison and her family had evacuated Earth 2 days earlier when a sudden solar dust storm had filled the air with particles. The move was supposed to be temporary while the government sanitized the air. However, no one knew how long temporary would be. So I'm going to stop right there because we have information about the setting and the character. And you could go ahead and press pause and underline the S and the C in the first 2 paragraphs. Then you can press play to keep reading. We're in paragraph 3. Madison noticed a figure was rushing toward the displaced citizens who were filing off the craft. He wore what could be described as a suit of armor. "Welcome to Tehran," the figure greeted them. "My name is Mono, and I'm a member of the welcoming committee for Bunker 8, your new home." "We're living in a bunker?" Madison gasped, alarmed. I suppose you didn't live in bunkers on Earth. Well, here in New Tehran, we are frequently showered with meteors, so it's not safe to dwell in an above-ground structure. Mono swept his arms behind him and continued, "As you can see, there are no buildings above ground. If you want to venture above ground, you are encouraged to wear a suit of armor." Mono paused. We'll have to order you armor, won't we?" Okay, we'll stop right here. We do have information about the problem. So if you want to go back in paragraph 6 and kind of 5 and 6, kind of thinking about what's a possible problem for Madison, you can do that and press pause to find the problem and play when you're ready to keep reading. We're in paragraph 7. Mono led them forward. After a quick tour through the underground shopping mall, library, and basketball court, Madison had to admit that living underground was intriguing. After a while, Madison heard a knock at the door. A girl with blonde hair and glasses greeted her. "Hi, I'm Cameron from Bunker 7. I wanted to come meet you. There aren't many kids in my bunker," she explained. Madison invited Cameron inside. She was happy to meet another girl her age, and she had all sorts of questions for her. First, she asked Cameron about school. So I'll stop right here. You should be noticing a change in Madison's attitude. So go back in paragraphs 7 through 10 and underline evidence for how her attitude is changing. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for paragraph 11. Cameron shook her head and said, "Well, we won't go to an actual school. You'll attend a virtual school." "A virtual school?" Madison cried. "I won't have any classmates?" "You will, but you'll be with them in a virtual classroom," Cameron explained. "Your image will be beamed into the same virtual place as the other kids in your grade. You will see all of them on your computer screen in your bunker." Noticing the look of uncertainty on Madison's face, she quickly added, "Don't worry, I was nervous too, but I like it now." All right, so in those last couple of paragraphs, you need to think about what's a possible, new problem that Madison had, and how did her friend try to help her solve the problem. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready to turn the page. All right, now we have the last paragraph here at the top. Madison flashed Cameron a small smile. It certainly wasn't going to be the same as school on Earth, but maybe it wouldn't be too bad. And even though Madison was getting used to the idea of virtual classmates, she was glad she had met an actual friend. So in paragraph 15, I want you to think about the theme. I want you to think about the lesson Madison learned from this experience that she had. Underline evidence for the theme, and you can even write it out to the side. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the questions. Number 1 says, how are Earth and New Terrain similar in this story? A. Both places have no buildings above ground. B. Both places experience dust storms. C. It is dangerous to be outside in both places. Or D. The sky has turned orange in both places. So you will need to go back in the text and find the answer for number 1. You'll need to underline the answer and write a number 1 out beside it before you choose any of the answer choices. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for number 2. What is different for Madison on New Terrain? A. Having classmates. B. Living in a bunker. C. Talking to her family. Or D. Making new friends. So you'll need to go back in the text and find out what is different about New Terrain for Madison. You'll need to underline that answer in the text and then choose your answer. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for number 3. How are Madison and Cameron alike? Both were confused at first about living underground. B. Both miss living on Earth. C. Both were nervous at first about attending a virtual school. And D. Both are new to living on Terrain. So to answer this question, you will need to find evidence for Cameron and Madison that is the same. It literally says it in the text. You will need to go find it for both characters. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for number 4. How is the story told in New Terrain? A. The person telling the story describes Madison's thoughts and feelings. B. Cameron tells the story and explains Madison's feelings. C. Madison tells the story and describes her own thoughts and feelings. Or D. The person telling the story describes events but not feelings. So you will need to go back in the text and see if you can find fast evidence for Madison. Is this first person or third person? Is Madison telling the story about herself, or is someone else telling the story about Madison? Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for number 5. Which is the best summary of the story? A. Madison and her family moved to New Terrain. Mono is the welcoming committee for their bunker. Madison and Cameron will go to a virtual school together. B. Madison and her family move to a fiery new planet called New Terran. They will live in an underground city because of meteor storms. It has a library and a shopping mall. C. Madison and her family leave Earth because of a solar dust storm. They will have to wear suits of armor when they go above ground. Madison makes a new friend named Cameron. Or D. Madison and her family leave Earth to live in an underground bunker in New Terran. Madison meets a new friend named Cameron and finds out she will attend a virtual school. Now remember, in a summary, it will include the CSPS. So which one of these summaries includes all of the information about the character, setting, problem, and solution? Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the paragraph. It says, explain a theme of this story. Use details from the story to support your answer. You will need at least 2 quotes from the text and explain those quotes from the text in order to receive full credit. Make sure you use the notes that you've taken to help you write your paragraph.